going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Monday, May 13th. Posting the show a day late this week because I spent yesterday at Warrior Wrestling 5 on the south side of Chicago. I'm sure you guys have heard me talking about it over the last few weeks. It was an awesome show. I got some pretty good content from the Fan Fest, which I'll be posting as well as part of this episode. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for listening and subscribing on Podbean, Spotify, Apple, Google, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitch, and pretty much wherever you find your podcasts. This week's episode, as I said last week, is not streaming live on Twitch, but going forward, I will be streaming live on Twitch every Sunday at 3 p.m., and then the podcast will be going up on all the usual platforms immediately after that. And want to thank everybody for following on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. On all of those, it's at Catch, Hook, Shoot, and you'll be able to find the page. And I hope some of you guys have checked out our new Patreon page. It's patreon.com/catchhookshoot. We've got 4 different tiers there for you to subscribe to. Got some good benefits on each one of those tiers. Make sure you head over to patreon.com/catchhookshoot to check that out. And also the new Catch, Hook, and Shoot store on Pro Wrestling Tees. That's prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot. We've got four pretty cool designs there, so head on over, check it out, pick up a shirt, help support the show. Like I said, any money that goes into either the Pro Wrestling Tees store or the Patreon page does go back into the show to help with upgrades and helping to get out to conventions and events and things like that. So make sure you check both of those out. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So let's get right into what's been going on this past week in wrestling. As far as WWE, we had the introduction of the wild card rule for Raw and SmackDown. Basically what this is a way for superstars to jump back and forth between Raw and SmackDown each week. And from what Vince McMahon said, I guess it's going to be 4 superstars each week are able to move back and forth between shows. So you'll see 4 SmackDown superstars on Raw, see 4 Raw superstars on SmackDown. It seems to be a way for him to be able to keep the top stars on both shows, and in an effort to, would seem to be an effort to increase the ratings, as the ratings, I'm sure everybody knows by now, have been declining steadily over the past several months. In the last couple of weeks they've been at pretty much the lowest they've ever been. So this seems like a way for WWE, like I said, to keep their top stars appearing on both shows, and just to increase ratings, get more eyes on the product, and get more people to watch. This week, I guess we're going to be seeing Charlotte is going to make an appearance on Raw. There's going to be a double contract signing with Becky Lynch, signing for her 2 matches that she has coming up at Money in the Bank versus Charlotte and Lacey Evans. So should be interesting. I'm sure we'll see the typical contract signing brawl break out with these 3. So have to see how that one plays out. Some other WWE news this week is the some inappropriate social media posts from several years ago from Lars Sullivan that were kind of brought to light. It's not the first that people have heard of these. I mean, this has been brought up before, but I guess somebody compiled all of these posts together and put it out there for people to see. And there's a lot of back and forth online about it. Should there be some kind of disciplinary action taken? Should he be fired? Things like that. Now, by all accounts, WWE was aware of these. Lars Sullivan was open and honest with them about it. Why he didn't just remove them at that time, is really kind of confusing to me. I mean, as easily as posts can be put up, they can be taken down. Now, granted, I'm sure somebody had, screenshotted these or what have you, but they could have been taken out. Why WWE didn't insist on him removing them when he made them aware of them at whatever point in time that was, I don't understand. And apparently WWE has gotten some reaction from some of their sponsors, most notably the Mars Company, which is the parent company of Snickers, which of course is their big WrestleMania sponsor every year. So they're obviously not happy about these kind of things. And when I say inappropriate, I'm talking about racist, homophobic, that kind of stuff. And I'm one. People are entitled to their opinions, that even if those opinions are unpopular, but they're they have their freedom of speech. But they're what I think a lot of people forget is while yes, you're free to say whatever you want about whoever you want, you're not free from the consequences. And if the consequences of that is that Lars Sullivan ends up losing his job, it is what it is. I mean, you can't put that kind of stuff out there and not expect there to be repercussions, especially when you're in the public eye like a WWE superstar is. So, I mean, Hulk Hogan was fired from the WWE for racist comments that he made many years before they actually came to light. And, WWE didn't hesitate to cut him loose when that happened. And, so if they're not going to do the same thing to Lars Sullivan, that's a little confusing to me. I mean, yeah, it was years ago. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He says, that's not who he is now. I mean, people can change. It is possible. But like I said, why not just take them down? If it's not how you feel anymore, take it down, own it, which it appears he has been. He came out, he made the statement, yes, I said these things. No, this isn't me anymore. This, I've grown. However you want to put it. And, I don't feel this way about these particular groups of people anymore. But, like I said, if that's the case, take the post down. Get them off of the internet. But, as far as I'm aware, that hasn't been done. Maybe it has, who knows. But, it just, I mean, like I said, it is what it is. He put it out there, and now he's got to deal with the repercussions of it. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. I haven't seen anything saying that he's going to be fired or disciplined in any way by the WWE. So, like I said, I'm interested to see how it's going to play out. I mean, Lars, since he was brought up to Raw and SmackDown from NXT, hasn't been part of any major storylines. They've just recently presented him as, kind of an indestructible monster, kind of along the same lines as when they brought Braun Strowman up from NXT. So it seems to be going in the same direction, making him that monster heel type character. But, with the issues that he's had, first of all, having to delay his debut because of some anxiety issues, which I fully understand. But then, now with this story coming to light, to me, it seems to become a point of, when is it just not worth continuing, and when do you get to the point of saying, okay, it's time to just cut our losses. This has become more trouble than it's worth. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Lars going forward. It could be nothing. WWE could go on with business as usual, or if they end up having a bout of their sponsors, if their sponsors say, hey, that this is not something we want to associate ourselves with, if it comes to a point of having to choose between a superstar and their sponsors, obviously WWE is going to go the business route, the money route, and go with their sponsors, and Lars Sullivan will be out the door, I would assume. But again, so far there hasn't been anything other than a statement from Lars making an apology and saying that these these are not his feelings anymore. So we'll have to see where that goes. Some Ring of Honor news. Ring of Honor has a new World TV Champion in Shane Taylor. He defeated Jeff Cobb, Brody King, and Hiroki Goto this past weekend at the War of Worlds event. One of the events, there were actually, I believe, 4 of them altogether. One of them was here in Chicago actually last night for a TV taping. So, Shane Taylor is your new Ring of Honor World Television Champion. Some sad news in wrestling this week. Silver King, who was pretty prominent in WCW back during the Monday Night Wars as part of the I don't think he was really a cruiserweight, but he wrestled among the luchadors that WCW had brought in for part of the cruiserweight division, along with people like La Parka, Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, people like that. But he passed away during an event this past weekend of apparently, from what I read, he had a stroke in the ring during a match, which led to a heart attack. And by all accounts, medical personnel and everything were on hand and got to him relatively quickly. I mean, the match did finish. It took a minute for them to realize that something was really wrong, that it wasn't just the regular course of the match. But they were not able to revive him. He did pass away in the ring during a match. yeah, definitely rest in peace, Silver King. He had a part in the movie Nacho Libre with Jack Black, and like I said, he was a prominent part of WCW back during the Monday Night Wars as part of their luchador cruiserweight division. And one thing I have to say about this, there was one dirt sheet out there, and I'm not going to mention their name because I refuse to give them that acknowledgement or publicity. Somebody, of course, chose to record video of what was going on when Silver King passed away. Of the footage of the end of the match, and then of the people trying to revive him, resuscitate him, and performing CPR and things like that. Number one, it was completely unnecessary for someone to record that video. It's just in poor taste, completely classless. But number two, this dirt sheet chose to share that video on social media and on their website, and again, completely classless. This is not journalism. It's sensationalism. It's using someone's death to get clicks, to get views, to try to gain followers and things like that, and it's completely unnecessary. And the individual in charge of this particular dirt sheet it tries to justify it, saying, "Oh well, TMZ posted footage of the Nipsey Hussle killing and things like that." I'm sorry, if you're using TMZ as your measuring stick for journalistic integrity, you need to reevaluate some things because TMZ, that's not journalism. Sorry to tell you, it's a gossip column at best. So if that's what you want to be, hey, be my guest. Be the wrestling gossip column. Um, but you know what? Own it. Don't try to sit out here and pretend that this is real journalism. This is what the quote unquote big boys do. That's actually what they said. Like I said, if you're using TMZ as your measuring stick for journalistic integrity, you have some reevaluating to do because you're not a journalist. Sorry to tell you, you're a hack. It's exactly what you are, and it's not. Like I said, I'm not even going to say who it was. I refuse to give them the acknowledgement or the publicity to even mention their name. I'm sure some of you guys have seen it. You'll know who I'm talking about. But yeah, to post it up there is completely classless, completely uncalled for, and then to try to defend it, saying under the guise of journalism and saying that you know even taking it as far to say, oh, it should be out there, as a warning of what can happen. And I'm sorry, you're not helping your cause. You have no credibility. You have zero class, zero respect, and you have no business posting something like this. It's completely insensitive to the person it happened to their family. This is a real person. This is not something that needs to be put out there. This is a human being who lost his life, and you should have some measure of respect and some measure of integrity. If you want to be called a journalist, then this is not the route to go. I mean, even somebody like Dave Meltzer had enough common sense to not post something like this. So that should tell you something right there. But like I said, it's the dirt sheet writers and websites. They're not journalists. They are not. I mean, they report completely on rumor with nothing to back it up. I mean, they say they have sources, but they can't provide any evidence or anything to back up any of their stories because they can't out their sources. But yet they'll sit here and say that their word is gospel. I actually have seen one wrestling quote unquote journalist post this on Twitter. Oh, my word is gospel. That's why people follow me and things like that. And I'm sorry, if the second you start spouting off things like that, you lose any credibility that you have because nobody is infallible. Everybody makes mistakes. And, if you want to be a respected journalist, number one, you have to put out there that, if you're reporting on a rumor, say it's a rumor. If you supposedly have a source, I'm sorry, you need to provide some measure of backup other than just your own word. Because, I don't care how often you're right about things. In this day and age we live in, what have you done for me lately? Okay, you were right 6 months ago about something. So what does that mean today? Nothing. So that's pretty much that as far as the dirt sheets go. I mean, another thing, real journalists don't get themselves involved in Twitter beefs with their critics. An actual journalist, an actual news reporter will post a story or post a link to a story that they've done, and that's that. I mean, they don't feel the need to clap back at people who say they're full of crap or, fake news and things like that. They post it, and that's that. If people believe it, they believe it. If they don't, they don't. But you will never see a real news journalist going back and forth with people on Twitter. It just doesn't happen. The only people you see that with are the dirt sheet writers. I've seen Meltzer do it. I've seen Alvarez do it. I've seen Keller do it. And they'll get into arguments and flinging insults back and forth with people who criticize their stories and things along those lines, and they buy into it, and they'll get into the back and forth on Twitter. That's not how a journalist behaves, and the type of stories that these people put out are not the type of, it's not what a journalist would put out. I mean, there's no way to fact check any of the stories put out by any of these dirt sheet guys, and that pretty much gives them free reign to say whatever they want without consequence, because you can't prove it one way or the other until it actually happens on television or something along those lines. So it's honestly, to me, it's a joke. I mean, I don't claim to be a wrestling journalist. When I put stuff out here on the podcast or on social media or what have you, I call it what it is. I say it's a rumor. And until it plays out, like I said, on TV or however it might play out, it's a rumor, plain and simple. So yeah, I mean, it pretty much is what it is. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. But getting back to the main part of this story, definitely rest in peace, Silver King. I was a fan of his with when he was with WCW. So hopefully his want to send condolences out to his family and things like that, because he was really a legend in Mexican wrestling and was a mainstay in the U.S. with WCW. So moving on to the main purpose of my show this week, like I said, I was at Warrior Wrestling 5 here in Chicago yesterday afternoon. It was a fantastic show. They had a few bumps in the road leading up to it, with people having to cancel their appearances and things like that, and they rolled with it, and they put together a fantastic show. They got over those hurdles. They had a last minute cancellation from Eddie Edwards. He was supposed to have a cage match with Austin Aries, but apparently he came down with the flu, so he wasn't able to make it due to that. But they put on a fantastic show last night. The opening match was for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. The steel cage match that was supposed to be with Aries and Eddie Edwards ended up being a triple threat with Austin Aries, Wardlow, and Brian Cage for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. Fantastic match. Cage did retain. On the rest of the card, from top to bottom, I mean, every match was spectacular. You had Sam Adonis with a victory over local Chicago guy Pat Monix. He is fantastic. If you have an opportunity to look up any of his matches, keep an eye on Pat Monix. He is a guy to watch. Then we had another singles match with Brian Pillman Jr. versus Robert the Ego Anthony with Frank the Clown in his corner. It was a hair versus clown match. Pillman was victorious, so he did not have his mullet shaved in the middle of the ring, and he did get 5 minutes alone in the ring with Frank the Clown. Great match between Pillman and Anthony, and after the match with Frank the Clown, Pillman did get his revenge on Frank the Clown. Took a nasty bump on top of multiple chairs, did Frank the Clown. So he definitely got what was coming to him. The fans were going nuts for this one. We had Filthy Tom Lawler, the MLW champion, in a one-on-one match with Chris Ridgway. This match was outstanding. I mean, it was a complete technical masterpiece. A lot of mat wrestling, back and forth chain wrestling, hold for hold. It was an amazing match with these two guys, and Tom Lawler did win the match via submission. We had a very entertaining tag team match with the Space Pirates versus the Ugly Ducklings, which was, like I said, extremely entertaining. These guys are, I don't know if I'd really call them comedy acts, but, well, yeah, probably. They would definitely fit that category. It was just hugely entertaining, great match. Space Pirates were victorious in that one. We had Volador Jr. versus Gringo Loco. Volador Jr. was victorious in that one. Had an amazing tag team match with the Lucha Brothers versus Kota Brazil and Daga. Yeah, this match was just probably the match of the night. Was this tag team match? It was just ridiculous. If you can find it online, I know Warrior Wrestling does put their events online, so check that one out. Lucha Brothers were victorious in that one. And the main event of the evening for the first ever Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship, we had Tessa Blanchard versus Jordan Grace with Molly Holly as a special referee. Tessa Blanchard was victorious in this one. A little bit of a controversial finish. Jordan seemed to think she kicked out of the pinfall, but Molly Holly did count 3. So Tessa Blanchard is your new first ever Warrior Wrestling Women's Champion, and I've got to say it was a fantastic match between these two, and I was actually able to get a very brief interview with Molly Holly during the Fan Fest prior to the show, so that will be part of the videos that I'm posting right afterwards here. And it was, all around a great show. I got some pretty good footage from the Fan Fest. Like I said, the only interview I was able to get was with Molly Holly, but it was awesome. She was really nice about it, and had a lot of good stuff to say about Jordan and Tessa during that brief interview I had with her. So you'll be seeing that coming up here in a few minutes. And so yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. I'm gonna be cutting over to the video footage from the Fan Fest. It's mostly just me kind of going over the card, showing you around the Fan Fest some of the different superstars that were seated around me, and the fans coming in, getting their pictures and autographs and things like that. And it was a lot of fun. So I highly encourage any of you guys, if you're in Chicago or going to be in Chicago during a Warrior Wrestling show, get your tickets, come out, check it out. It's a lot of fun. They put on some amazing matches, and they get some really good indie talent to come in for their shows, and it's for a great cause. The shows go to benefit Marian Catholic High School for scholarships for their students and things like that. I've got to say a big thank you to Steve Tortorello, the principal of Marian Catholic and the promoter of Warrior Wrestling. Just an awesome guy. Gave me a wonderful opportunity to have the show at their Fan Fest, and did tell me I'm welcome back anytime, which I plan on taking him up on as much as possible for whatever shows they have coming up in the future. I can pretty much guarantee you that Catch Hook and Shoot will be there, recording more content and doing as much promotion for them as I possibly can, because it is an awesome promotion. So with that, I'm going to sign off right now. I'm going to cut to these videos that I got from the event yesterday. So I hope everybody has a good week. I'll be back to my normal schedule next week on Sunday, 3 p.m., streaming live on Twitch, and then going up on all the usual podcasting platforms after that. Make sure you are listening and subscribing on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and of course live every Sunday at 3 p.m. on Twitch. To search for Catch Hook and Shoot on any of those, you'll be able to find it. Make sure you're following on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and LinkedIn at Catch Hook Shoot. And make sure you check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/CatchHookShoot, and our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/CatchHookShoot. And if you ever want to send over an email, questions, comments, anything, if you'd like something you'd like to see or hear on the show, any ideas, I'm open to pretty much anything. That's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So I am going to sign off for right now. I will see you guys next Sunday. Hope you enjoy the video footage that's coming up from Warrior Wrestling yesterday, and I will talk to you guys soon. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tom from Catch Hook and Shoot. I am here at Marian Catholic High School for Warrior Wrestling 5. Just finished getting set up. Getting ready for the Fan Fest to start in about 10 minutes or so. Let me show you guys what's going on. There's no No wrestlers in here yet, just everybody setting their tables up. You see some vendors setting their stuff up. And yeah, should be a great time. I am situated right here. My table is right between the Warrior Wrestling Champion Brian Cage and the one of the women challenging for the first ever Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship today, Tessa Blanchard. So hopefully I can get one of them, both of them, to pop their head in, say hello. So yeah, I'm gonna be recording as much as I can. Hopefully get to talk to some people, and yeah, should be a great time. And you'll probably see me adjusting the camera a lot because it's on a swivel arm here. But yeah, gonna be see what kind of cool stuff I can get going on. So yeah, I will sign off for the moment, but I'll definitely be back and forth, hopefully recording a bunch of stuff this afternoon. So stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So here at the Warrior Wrestling 5 Fan Fest, the doors just opened. Fans are filing in. And, yeah, still waiting on some of the wrestlers to come down and set up their tables here for autographs, photo ops. But as you can see, set up right down for me is Molly Holly. And with their backs to me, those are the Space Pirates right there. So waiting on some more wrestlers to come down and get set up, get ready to meet the fans. Yeah, I am set up right in between Brian Cage and Tessa Blanchard, so hopefully can get one of them to pop over and say hello, get on the mic for a little bit. And so yeah, pretty excited about being here. Met the promoter, owner of Warrior Wrestling, Steve, who's also the principal of Marian Catholic High School, and really cool guy. They put on a great show here. Some little bit of bad news: found out that Eddie Edwards apparently got the flu, so he's not going to be able to appear on the show tonight. He was supposed to be having a steel cage match with Austin Aries to kick off the show. So wondering how that's gonna affect the show. Is the cage match still going to go on, or is that going to be canceled? Are they going to have another opponent for Aries? So it should, have to see how that one works out. Haven't heard anything as far as a replacement just yet. And Tessa Blanchard is walking up to her table right now. Tessa Blanchard and Daga, as a matter of fact. And you see Tessa and Daga taking a seat at their table, getting ready to meet and greet the fans. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the moment here. Just wanted to give another check-in. Like I said, fans are filing in, wrestlers are filing in, so it's gonna be an exciting Sunday afternoon here at Warrior Wrestling 5. So I will check back in a bit. Hey, what's up, everybody? Catch, Hook, and Shoot here at the Warrior Wrestling 5 Fan Fest. Fans are still coming in. Doors just opened a little while ago. Still waiting for some of the wrestlers to get here and get set up for their meet and greets and autographs and photo ops and all that kind of fun stuff. Seated actually here right next to Tessa Blanchard and Daga, and on the other side of me should be Brian Cage. I'm assuming he will be here. I know he's injured, suffered a back injury at the last Impact Wrestling pay-per-view, but he is set to defend his Warrior Wrestling Championship today against Wardlow. So we'll have to see. See when he gets here if he's able to compete or what's going to happen. I know Wardlow has been calling him out on social media, saying he needs to just give up the championship. So should be interesting to see when Cage gets here how that's going to work out. Now I know Melissa Santos this past week on Impact was saying that he his back was pretty bad. Wasn't even really able to lift their daughter. So I would assume if that's the case, he wouldn't be able to compete in a match either, but who knows? I mean, he's been going through rehab like a crazy person, daily, multiple times a day, so we'll have to see what's going to happen with Cage. Hopefully he is able to compete. Like I said, still got people filing in, fans, wrestlers, so waiting to, hopefully get some photos, get somebody to stop by and say hello. I'm hoping I can get Cage to pop in for a little cameo here once he gets to his table right here next to me. Would love the opportunity to
maybe get Daga and Tessa to stop by and say hello. So we'll have to see. It looks like Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix just walked in. Let me turn the camera around here, see if we can see them. Yeah, they're seated directly across from me on the other side of the gym. Not too easy to see, but yeah, the Lucha Brothers just walked in. So, and today they are competing against Cotto Brazil and Daga, who's sitting right here next to me. So that'll be an insane tag team match. And so yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on right now. Yeah, just looking out at the fans, waiting for autographs. Tessa Blanchard has a huge line. Molly Holly's got a good-sized line here. Pentagon and Phoenix had a line before they even walked into the room. So, and so yeah, there's a lot of people coming out, and should be an awesome time here. There's a couple other podcasts set up. So, yeah, like I said, hopefully I'm able to get a couple of people to stop by and say hello. I'm gonna work on that, so I will check back in a bit. So what's up, everybody? Checking in one more time. People still filing in here, still waiting for some of the wrestlers to get their tables set up. Cotto Brazil actually just got set up directly across from me. See if you guys can see him. He's actually at that table right there. But there's somebody standing in front of him at the moment. Fans coming in, getting their autographs and photo ops. There's Cotto right there. And his tag team partner for tonight, Daga, at the table right next to me, right there, along with Tessa Blanchard. And this table over here is designated for Brian Cage, the Warrior Wrestling Champion. Has not made an appearance quite yet. Like I was saying before, he was injured at the Impact pay-per-view the night that he won the Impact World Championship. And so it's kind of questionable if he's going to be able to compete here today and defend his Warrior Wrestling title against Wardlow. Wardlow has been calling him out pretty heavily on social media and, basically telling him that he should just give up the championship. And yeah, I'm not thinking Cage is going to be too keen on just handing over his title. So, got to wait and see what the status of that match is going to be. Now, they have been saying that Eddie Edwards is not going to be here. He is scheduled for a cage match against Austin Aries. But from what I heard, he apparently has got the flu. So, not sure if they're going to have a replacement for him. Maybe if Cage is not able to compete, if he's got to forfeit the title, maybe it'll be a case of Wardlow versus Austin Aries in the cage match for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. That match would definitely be worth the price of admission here. Then, of course, the big one for tonight, crowning the first ever Warrior Wrestling Women's Champion, Tessa Blanchard, sitting right over here, against Jordan Grace. To crown the first champion. Special referee for that match is Molly Holly, who is sitting a couple tables down from me. So, we'll have to see how that comes out. Who's going to be the first ever Warrior Wrestling Women's Champion? Who's going to be the Warrior Wrestling Champion at the beginning of the night? And then some other matches going on today. We've got the Lucha Brothers versus Cotto Brazil and Daga, who is also sitting right next to me with Tessa Blanchard. Brian Pillman Jr. taking on the Ego Robert Anthony with Frank the Clown. That's a hair versus clown match. If Brian Pillman loses the match, he gets his mullet cut in the middle of the ring. But if Pillman wins, he gets 5 minutes in the ring alone with Frank the Clown. So we'll have to see how that one goes. That one sounds like an interesting match there. We've got Sam Adonis taking on Pat Monix. Sam Adonis, of course, the brother of WWE commentator Corey Graves. Pat Monix, a local Chicago wrestler. He... I've got to say I'm not too familiar with him. He made an appearance at Warrior Wrestling 4, but did not wrestle. He just kind of came out and made an appearance in the arena. But he's got kind of a DJZ Mustafa Ali vibe with his look. I'm not saying he's not a copy of either one of those guys by any means, but that's kind of the like I said, the vibe. We've got the Space Pirates versus the Ugly Ducklings. Space Pirates, very entertaining tag team, so it should be a great match with those two teams. We've got Volador Jr. versus Gringo Loco, another high-flying lucha style type match. And then we've got Filthy Tom Lawler, the MLW World Champion, taking on Chris Ridgway. So yeah, pretty stacked card here. Like I said, the only things in question are Brian Cage for his championship defense against Wardlow, and then Eddie Edwards apparently not going to be here because he is sick with the flu. So we'll, yeah, I could definitely see those two matches kind of being combined, and Wardlow versus Austin Aries in the cage for the championship if Brian Cage is not able to go. So we'll have to see what's going to happen with that one. And yeah, I'm going to sign off for the moment and hopefully get somebody in here to come and say hi, and I will. I will be back shortly. All right, so my wife and my brother right now just noticed that Molly Holly's table is free, so they're going to try to get her to come over to say hello. So, yeah, my nerves are on the edge of my skin, to say the least. I have never conducted an interview in my life, so we'll see how this goes. If anything, it'll be just a couple of seconds. Hello, great to see ya, and that kind of fun stuff. So. And it looks like she's coming over. Hi, I'm Tom. Nice to meet you. Can I get you on mic for a couple seconds? There you go. So I am standing here with Molly Holly. Actually, can you take a couple steps this way?
Is this also video? Oh,
yes,
my
it
hair.
is.
Okay.
You look perfect.
Thanks.
First of all, thank you for coming by. You are the very first wrestler that I've ever interviewed, so if I'm a bit nervous...
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, you're nervous. Now wait till I attack you.
Okay, I can die happy now. But so you're refereeing tonight, Jordynne Grace versus Tessa Blanchard for the first ever Warrior Wrestling Women's title.
Yes, I am.
So how are you feeling going into that one?
I am terrified. Oh my gosh, I am so out of shape. Plus, refereeing is like a whole special skill where I mean, you can only really improve by practice, and
right.
I have not refereed a gig in quite some time. So.
Yeah, I don't think referees get enough credit for what they do.
Oh my gosh, it's like you have to stay out of the way yet be in the action and anticipate when things are happening so that you don't get run over, and you have to hold control. I mean, there's so many elements to what that is, and anyway, I'm just hoping I don't mess anything up. So.
I'm not thinking you will. So what do you think about Jordynne and Tessa? I mean, for me, they're the two best in the world right now.
They're amazing. I mean, Tessa's got a line out the door. I mean, there are people from all over, like 5 states around, that have driven in just to see Tessa. So yeah, she's got her autograph signing line is very, very impressive, and it's for good reason. I mean, she's amazing, and to see these girls tonight, I mean, I'm excited to be like up in the action, and I'll get to see all the maneuvers, and I'll probably be like feeling their pain emotionally, and also being really thankful that I'm not the one taking the bumps. But it should, tonight's, or I guess this afternoon. I keep saying tonight. I'm like, oh, it's a matinee show.
Yeah, I've
but
been
it should
doing
be
the same
awesome.
thing. All right, well, thank you so much. I know you probably want to get back to your table because I know you've had quite a line this afternoon too. But thank you so much for stopping by. This is awesome.
Thanks
I appreciate
for having
it so
me.
much.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Molly.
All right, so the Warrior Wrestling Champion Brian Cage just showed up at his table right here next to me. And, he's looking phenomenal as always. So, just had an interview with Nora Greenwald, Molly Holly. First ever interview with a wrestler for the podcast. So it was absolutely awesome. She was really cool, and hopefully my nerves didn't show through too much there. But it's definitely picking up here at the Warrior Wrestling 5 Fan Fest, and having a great time. Hopefully gonna get a couple more of the wrestlers to stop by, say hello, talk about their matches tonight, and the interview with Molly Holly was awesome again. So I'm gonna be hanging my hat on that one for quite a while here, but just kind of a surreal moment there, getting a chance to interview Molly Holly, one of the greats in women's wrestling, in WWE and pretty much anywhere. So that was just an awesome experience. She was really cool, and she helped to calm my nerves a little bit. So just a class act all around. Thank you again to Molly Holly. Okay, so we just had a little bit of a face-off between Brian Cage and Tessa Blanchard right in front of me. Kind of scared me for my life for a minute. So basically, we have Tessa Blanchard issuing a challenge to Brian Cage for when, quote unquote, she wins the Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship, going title for title with Brian Cage for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. So interesting little exchange. Unfortunately, I didn't get it on camera here, but I believe my wife got it on her phone. So, all right. So this is Catch, Hook, and Shoot. We're back at Warrior Wrestling 5, intermission right now. So to kick off the night, we had a steel cage match. It was originally scheduled to be Austin Aries and Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards was ill, not able to make it, so it ended up being a triple threat with Aries, Wardlow, and Brian Cage for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. Brian Cage did retain, and as you can see, he is right over here greeting his fans, signing autographs, taking pictures, and all that kind of fun stuff. From there, we had Sam Adonis taking on Pat Monick. Sam Adonis was victorious in that one in no DQ. The Space Pirates versus the Ugly Ducklings. That match was super entertaining. Space Pirates were victorious. Filthy Tom Lawler defeated Chris Ridgway. And Brian Pillman Jr. defeated Robert Anthony with Frank the Clown. Got his 5 minutes in the ring with Frank the Clown. It was... awesome show so far. So, like I said, we're at intermission. Got a couple more matches to go. We got the Lucha Brothers versus Kota Brazil and Daga. Volador Jr. versus Gringo Loco. And then it looks like the main event's going to be Jordan Grace versus Tessa Blanchard for the first ever Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship. So, that's it so far. I'll see if I can maybe talk to anybody else and, get back to the rest of the show. So, I will be back.